Here's how I make an effect shot similar to the ones in our new film, Shadows of the Past. First, I open up DaVinci Resolve and make a new project. I'll then open up my footage and we can take a look at the raw footage right now. Pretty stupid, I know, but anyways, I'm immediately going to head into Fusion because that is where the magic happens and where I actually create the VFX. However though, before I do this, I need to get actual VFX assets, and to do that, I go to my trusty old website, Production Crate. Production Crate has a huge library of assets, about half of them being free, and the other ones, you needing a subscription for them. There is just a gigantic library of stuff. You could just go scrolling forever. You do get a limit of 5 downloads per day, but it's not a big deal if you know how to, budget your downloads correctly. But anyways, though, I'm thinking of going for a Doctor Strange effect here, which is great because they have a free Doctor Strange shield effect. Once I do that, I can finally actually get started and import my effect into the Fusion page. Now, first what I need to do is actually animate the effect onto my hand. Now, first what I can do is I can use a tracker, so I can import a tracker node, attach it to my node tree, track it to my hand, go into operations and select match move, and also hook it up to my effect shot. And that should work pretty well. But let's say in some circumstances that ends up, not working, because tracking isn't always perfect, especially in the free version of DaVinci. Well, then there's always hand animating. You do have more control over it, it just takes longer. What you're going to want to do, place that tracker with a merge node, then add in a transform node, and each frame keyframe your animation into the transform node. And you're going to want to repeat that process for, a good hour, or until, your animation or your loop or cycle is fully finished and you are satisfied with your animation. You can do tons of little tweaks. Like for me, I made it so that the shields tilts with my hands and, stuff like that, and they get bigger and smaller depending on where I move it. But yeah, and I'm not even joking, this took around a good 40 minutes to animate here. But I do prefer hand animation because, again, you do have more control. Congratulations, you have a brand spanking new, beautiful animation, but there is one problem. It seems as if your effect is going in front of an object which should be in front of it. This is similar to shots like this, or like this, or like this. The solution to this is something called rotoscoping, or in other words, masking, where every single frame you use polygons to mask out your certain shape pretty much as another layer. So let me show you how to do it.